What's up, everybody? Good morning. How's everybody doing? Hopefully, everybody had a good Thanksgiving. Mine was pretty amazing. Exactly. If you thought earlier this week was bad, it's about to feel like 2007 all over again. So let's immediately address the elephant in the room. And we're not talking about your wife angry biracial. We're talking about why this stream took so long. It was a holiday season. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. My family flew in. I had to make the determination of what was more important, arguing with some loser ass nigga or spending time with my family. So, what do you think I did? I spent time with my family. Now, Jesse, I know your family don't fuck with you, and you don't really understand what it's like to have cousins, aunts, uncles, nieces, nephews, people who love you, they want to spend time with you. I know you don't get that. But for me, it was an amazing experience. So your bitch ass just had to wait. But of course, I came back for you. So I hope everyone had a great Thanksgiving. Some people don't fuck with these colonizer days. I get it. For me, it was just an excuse to see family, have good food, and really enjoy myself. Special shout out to Thickness. Special shout out to Cynical. Light Bright Ghost. Who are you? I mean, you're free to come. I don't care who comes. Anybody can come. Well, mostly anybody can come. But, we don't got to hide under assumed profiles. It's all good. Even the ops can show up. As long as you act like you got some sense in the chat. That's it. As long as there's no fuck shit in the chat, I don't care who shows up. I mostly don't care who shows up. So we're talking about Jesse McBitch because he was acting a fucking fool. Just an emotional wreck. You know you got a motherfucker tight in their chest when they run their nappy-headed ass to the fucking courthouse first thing in the morning talking about some fucking cyber stalking. Bitch, when did I ever try to contact you? Hello, bitch. I asked you a question. When have I ever tried to contact you? You were texting me, though. You were following me on Twitter. You probably subscribed to at least one of my channels. I'm not interested in you. Why would I be interested in a fucking traitor? You are a traitor to everybody. You betrayed America. You definitely betrayed the niggas. Oh, you betrayed those black people in a heartbeat. You've also betrayed Allah. Nigga, when you die, you're going to bust hell wide open. I don't know why you think that you're some type of special person. Actually, I do know why you think you're a special person. And we're going to get into the psychology of shit a little bit later. This is going to be a mix of an analyses and just receipts. So let's get comfortable because everyone can't break shit down like how I break shit down. People get all emotional and start throwing a whole bunch of insults. I can insult you all day. I can talk about that weak ass hairline. I can talk about them titties. I can talk about your income. I could really just talk shit about you, but I would prefer for us to really pull some layers back and really look at what we're dealing with. What's up, Brila Davina? Miss H, what's up? Some of you guys I'm not too familiar with, but welcome to the stream. So who is Jesse MacBeth? Jesse MacBeth is probably, if we look at all the historical traitors, right? You got Benedict Arnold. He was a traitor. Mary Surratt. Mary Surratt was one of the collaborators that helped kill Lincoln, right? And then you got someone like Jesse MacBeth, who ranks under those people, but he's kind of up there too. So before we can talk about these stupid allegations this bitch nigga put against me, we got to discuss him first, right? First of all, if you have a Wikipedia page and you ain't famous, it's probably because you are infamous. So let's get into your infamous history, nigga. Wait a minute. Hold on one second. I just got to share the screen. Soft edge. And how's the audio? I was having some weird audio trying to get all this shit together. Microsoft. Here we go. Now, I'm gonna put the link in the chat as well. I want you guys to be able to follow this. One thing about me, when I provide receipts, I want you to double check my receipts because my shit is always on point. So, hold on. Here's this Jesse MacBeth. Now, many of you have seen this. Wrong one. Well, this is the interesting part, but definitely read the entire article. But, okay. So Jesse MacBeth was actually born in Arizona. The niggas in Arizona are very different. You got to understand, some of the most deceptive niggas I've ever come across was from Arizona or lived in Arizona for a long time. I've been all up and through the West Coast, the Sun Belt. I do a lot of traveling, spend a lot of time in Arizona. And I'm going to let you know, these niggas are the most deceptive niggas you would ever come across. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that there isn't much of a black identity in Arizona, even in the major parts like Phoenix, definitely not in Tucson where this nigga's from. So you got these isolated black people who really have a crab in a bucket mentality. If you think there's a crab in a bucket mentality in your neighborhood, understand it's way worse in places like Arizona where there is no black businesses. There's a couple of them here and there, but not many. Places like New York, places like Baltimore, places like Chicago, yeah, there's bad neighborhoods, but you can, of course, find lots of black businesses, black prosperity, just like you can find black blight. But Jesse didn't come from that kind of a world. So he's described as an American anti-war protester, author, and military imposter. We can get rid of the author part because ain't nobody buying his books. I mean, anybody can create a fucking book and put it on Amazon, even though he claimed he has a publisher. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit later. He was a part of a very interesting video created by Pepper Spray Productions. And in this video, Jesse MacBeth talked about everything from murdering children, raping women, setting motherfuckers on fire, all kinds of horrible shit. And usually when people have this lack of empathy for children and women, they can cook up these crazy things in their mind. And they can tell you these lies with just impunity because they don't have empathy for that population. So I want you guys to watch this video, and we're going to talk more about Pepper Spray Productions because they have an interesting history. So we're going to play a video, and I'm going to be going in and out of it pretty often.
My country, I'm going to go make.
So this is the video from Pepper Spray Production. Pepper Spray Production was a liberal, Seattle-based company where they were supposed to provide protest videos for the war. But really, it was just propaganda.
We went to the home of Iraq veteran Jesse MacBeth and his wife Lynn and their newborn baby boy. Jesse served as an Army Ranger in Iraq for 16 months before being wounded.
Y'all notice Jesse MacBeth always has those small kids in his videos, his children with grimace. He makes sure he shows those small kids. But this young boy right here, because Jesse was beating the fuck out of his mom. He's about like 18 now. You don't ever see this child because his mother got a restraining order from him. I mean, he likes to fight women. He was beating the shit out of his wife. So you never see this child.
Wounded and ultimately discharged from the military. He is now a member of Iraq Veterans Against the War.
I remember I thought I was going to be hood. I thought I was going to be, the best. And I'm going to go and protect my country. I'm going to go make sure people at home don't suffer.
Nigga start off lying, immediately stuttering, immediately lying. Let's hear that one more time.
The best. I thought I was going to be
Iraq Veterans Against the War.
I remember I thought I was going to be hood. I thought I was going to be, the best. And I'm going to go and protect my country. I'm going to go make sure people at home don't suffer, even though I hate some people back at home. But I still want to do my job for everybody else, for all the innocent people. And I have so much pride for my country, so much pride for my home, my government, and then they.
Side note, sorry, I'm drinking a little tea right now. Jesse was what, like 22 here? To have a hairline that fucked up at 22. God don't fuck with you, and Allah don't fuck with you either.
I got shipped off to Osan, in Korea for like 1 week, They go pick up some more people. And after that, we went all the way over to
Jesse hasn't left the fucking country. He doesn't even have a passport. See how quickly he lies?
Baghdad. We dropped off in Kuwait first, and then we got a caravan that down to Baghdad. But once I was in Baghdad, once I got there, my whole aspect of the country changed. And we were in Kuwait. We got debriefed about our mission. Like the Rangers, we got debriefed about that our job over there is to strike fear in the hearts of the Iraqis. That's what they told us. They say you can do whatever.
I just checked out the chat. Can y'all not hear? Is the audio jacked up? Put a one in the chat if you can hear everything. Come on. Okay, cool. Then it could be an issue specifically with you, Miss H. I just want to make sure everybody can hear.
Whatever it takes, we're not gonna hold anything against you. You're not gonna get charged for anything. Do whatever it takes in the field to make them fear you. And to be brutal, to not feel, to do. This is said we're not there for them. We got our own purpose, and we're not there for them. The Geneva Convention, that doesn't mean crap. The Geneva Convention is just something for political.
Pause. Bear in mind, this is a low-ranking fucking, even in this scenario, even in this fucking fantasy that he's creating, he is a fucking lower-tiered soldier. Why would they be so frank about, oh, fuck the Geneva Convention, oh, we're here to just terrorize people? Even if that was the plan, why would they be telling this stuttering nigga this? Wouldn't that be information that would be kept for the people closer to the top? Come on now.
Crap, So once I heard that, I'm like, what happened to the Army values, the stuff you pumped us up for? What happened to just going over to liberate the people? Operation Iraqi Freedom. It's more like Operation Iraqi Slaughter, And so
So even in this scenario, he describes a moral compass. Like, oh my God, how could they expect us to do all these horrible things? Right? Right? He has morality. It's bothering him to even think about doing some shit like this. All right.
I remember when I first got there, so after the debriefing, they had us go out and clear out the bunkers after the Air Force and bomb the crap out of them. So we had to go in there and make sure everything in there was dead still.
Oh yeah, one other thing. I'm sorry. This nigga never made it to the military completely. He got kicked out during boot camp after like 30-something days. He wasn't physically or mentally fit enough for the military. So this whole scenario is all bullshit. The whole scenario. He never left the country. It's different when people exaggerate, because there was a lot of fucked up shit that happened in Iraq. I'm going to show you guys a video a little bit later about some of the stuff that happened in Iraq. But this nigga never left the fucking country. He didn't get through basic training. They told him and his whack ass pussy to leave. So what is he talking about? He's making it up.
So whether it was women, children, whatever, if they weren't dead, we had to finish them off and just drag the bodies out. These like little underground bomb shelters or houses that have little basements in it, and most of them were just families, hiding down there. But
this documentary came out in 2007. I imagine they probably made it in 2006, around that time period. So it's a relatively old documentary, because Jesse MacBeth is like 38 now. So he was in his early 20s when all of this happened. So, yeah. And mind you, the production company that got him or found him, they were a very small production company. They don't have any other documentaries. I mean, at the time, they didn't have any other documentaries to say, hey, we did this project, now we're moving on to this project. This was their first project. We're going to get back into this production company because They were involved in some other shit. So let's get back to the documentary.
We're told that there are insurgents hiding down there. There was Saddam's forces hiding down there, you know. So we, after went down there, and a lot of them were dead, and a lot of them weren't dead, you know, just wounded. And I remember walking in there and smelling, you know, smell of burnt flesh, and hearing people, you know, cry, and hearing people, you know, just begging us to help them, because they thought we were there for them, you know.
Listen to all the details, right? Bear in mind, keep in mind, this motherfucker never made it across the finish line when it came down to boot camp. He got kicked out of the military before completing boot camp. And almost anybody can get through. Well, let me rephrase that. Getting through the Army is not that challenging, especially if you meet the physical accommodations. You can be almost as dumb as a box of rocks. No offense to all the great people in the military, but getting through the military, not that challenging. And he couldn't even do that. Couldn't even get through the military. Couldn't even get through the process to get in the military. But he has this whole long story about terrorizing Iraqis. What do you think happened when this information got back to the Iraqis? This lie that he told. How many soldiers do you think were put at risk because of this bullshit story? Because this was translated in Arabic, this little documentary. It was translated in Arabic. How many Americans got fucked up behind this lie? My cousin actually was in Iraq. He got hit with acid. Doesn't look the same. Happened in 2006. I wonder if lies like Jesse MacBeth, the lies that he told, did that affect my cousin's time in Iraq? All right.
And just seeing just people lying around and rotting, you know, and this is something that were wounded very bad. We had to kill them, and after experiencing that first part, it changed me, you know. After having to witness that and you know, and do harm, you know, in other people's life, I mean, I feel like I lost a lot of myself, you know. I feel, and we'll go in, and there probably like an average, sometimes more, sometimes less, you know, 5 or 6 people, you know, that lived, you know. And they lived, or they were wounded, or they were hurt just a little bit, or because they were real deep down in there, or they avoid the main blast, or they hid behind something, you know. And no matter if they survived that or not, we had to kill them inside, you know, where the rest of the media and that crap, but they couldn't see. And then,
for those of you who aren't old enough to remember the Iraq War, I'm 33 years old. Iraq War was a very hot button topic for a lot of people who even thought about going to the military. It had become so, it wasn't like any war where there was like, oh, we're fighting on the front lines. It was very akin to what happened in Vietnam. And if you know anything about Vietnam, you know how dangerous that fucking war was. People were literally putting explosives on dead bodies. They were sending their children to blow shit up, right? It only escalated the longer the war went on. So when you got assholes like Jesse MacBeth saying that American soldiers are just killing everybody, what do you think the Iraqis, the insurgents, thought? Well, fuck it, we can't trust nobody. We got to do what we got to do. We got to fight like hell, essentially. He made this war so much more dangerous.
we bring them out, you know. And a lot of times, you know, like the intelligence on it, a lot of times I don't even think, you know, that I think they knew there were no insurgents in there. And I think, you know, they just said that there are insurgents in here, you know, because you know, every time we bomb someplace and the news and blew it up, you know, and so I think they said that, you know, to get support and to make it look like they were doing the right thing. And it's the Iraqi people. Yeah, the insurgents did a lot of jacked up stuff to the American soldiers, you know. But but hey, I'm not saying it's right with what they did, but if some people came into came into America, a huge foreign army, they're doing the crap that we did to them, I'll just like them do the same thing back, because people have the right to fight for their families and for the country, and especially if we're terrorizing someone's country.
I'm not saying that everything that America did during the Iraq War was perfect. It wasn't, clearly. But interestingly enough, he immediately jumps on the side of the insurgents. He has all this morality, but he didn't say, hey, I talked to the captain and I expressed my concerns then, and I filed, complaints. I worked within the system to let people know what was going on, which is what you're supposed to do when there's issues within the military. It may make you persona non grata. They may want to kick you the fuck out, but that's what you do if you are having issues with what's going on, especially if there's violations of the Geneva Convention. I mean, he's clearly, in this scenario that he created, he's aware of the Geneva Convention, but he's not aware of how to file a complaint or let superiors know what's going on.
They have the right to fight back, and I don't blame them. I would do the same thing. And I've been called a traitor for saying that, and all kind of stuff. Well, I feel like
nah, sis. You're not a traitor for what you're describing, because you're describing a scenario that didn't happen. You're a traitor because, number one, you lied about your military experience. From that lie, you were able to disseminate misinformation to the Iraqi insurgents, which intensified the war, right? Then you betrayed Black people. Because at the end of the day, when them niggas threw you in prison, I'm confident the judge wasn't Black. I'm confident the prosecutor wasn't Black. But, all your smoke is for the niggas now, right? So you betrayed them too. And you betrayed Allah. And we're going to show how you betrayed Allah very shortly. So that's why you're a traitor. You're a traitor because that's what the fuck you are.
Everything the military has taught me for doing what it told me to, and for not speaking out, I feel like I'm betraying my battle boys that died. Mm-hmm. And then after that, man, we would do the night raids in houses, and we would pull people out, and we have them all like on the knees and zip tied, and we'll ask the guy questions, the whole family, the man of the house questions, and if he didn't answer the way we would like to, we'll shoot his youngest kid in the head, and we'll keep going.
Wow. See how quick he uses children as shields? He'll throw up like immediately. We killed his youngest child. Wow. What do you think the Iraqis who heard this interview thought? These motherfuckers are murdering our children. Well, we got to do what we got to do. If that means sending our fucking teenage son out there with a, vest bomb, let's go ahead and do it. You are a piece of shit. The lowest piece of shit. Like, there's some horrible people in this sector, known as the mixed race sector, I guess. But you are probably the lowest. I'm not saying that you. Let me stop before I say something that's gonna get me canceled. Let's continue.
It's our interrogation. He could be innocent, He could just be an average Joe just trying to support his family. And if he didn't give us a satisfactory answer, we start killing off his family until we told us something. If he didn't know anything, I guess he was SOL, And what sucked, I didn't feel that. I just wanted to do my job. I wanted to be a good ranger, I wanted to lead the way.
You felt numb, but you also mentioned like 15, not even 15 minutes ago, like 4 or 5 minutes ago in the same interview, that you were just, had all of these feelings because it was against the Geneva Convention, but now you're just this emotionless killer, but you're also trying to be a good ranger. These things don't go together. They're literally clashing against each other. You want to know why? Because you're lying. You're lying. You're lying like you always do. You're a lying ass bitch who just runs their mouth and loves attention. Well, I'm giving your punk ass the attention today. This is what you wanted, right? You're getting it today.
I felt wrong. I felt disgusted, with myself, because I had to make myself hate them in order to do my job. I had to make myself not think of them as people. They're thinking them as a target.
Jesse, get Grimace to do some fucking sit-ups before you come in my chat to start talking shit. And you can join her at it. All right?
Or an enemy, or I just dehumanize them. And that way I can live with, I still can't, and it's hard for me to deal with it, but now that I'm back home, but that way I can complete my job. If I didn't keep count, but I'll say, by my hand alone, probably almost 200 people, that were taken out by me. And that's just a rough estimate. And
a lot of those at close
range. A lot of those at close range, like I said, by me. And that, or an enemy, or I just dehumanize them. And that way I can live with, I still can't, and it's hard for me to deal with it, but now that I'm back home, but that way I can complete my job. If I didn't keep count, but I'll say, by my hand alone, probably almost 200 people, that were taken out by me.
First of all, nigga, you ain't that guy. You ain't that guy, bitch. You're not Chris Kyle. All right, let's get this out of the way. You's a bitch. You feel me? Like, everyone knows you're a bitch. Have y'all saw those little struggle cartoons he created? You see this little beige motherfucker running through the hallway getting chased around? That was you. That was you. You ain't got the balls to do anything to anybody. So who are these 200 people that you murdered? And who would glorify such a fucking thing? Even in this lie that you're creating, why glorify some shit like that? I mean, I want you guys to just sit and think about that. Who would glorify some horrifying shit like that? Who? And the type of shit that he's lying about, it's not like small shit. It's not like, oh, I drive a Tesla and, you're driving a hoopty. Like, granted, that's a lie too, but it's a harmless lie. This is a fucking lethal lie. The lies that he's telling, people got hurt. People died behind these lies. And this bitch ass nigga is talking about a fucking, smoke detector? Bitch, do you know how high my fucking ceilings are? I don't have a ladder to reach how high my ceilings are. You wouldn't know because your fucking ceilings are 7 feet high. You don't know what that's like. Okay, so worry about you. Worry about these fucking lies. And we ain't even got started, man. We haven't even got started, people.
And that's just a rough estimate. And
a lot of those at close
range. A lot of those at close range, like I said,
close?
Like from the distance from me to you are closer. Like when we're doing the raids at the houses, it'd be closer. It'd be they would actually feel, the hot muzzle, of my rifle on the forehead. And I wouldn't shoot them that close, but I would step back and then do it. But like, we do stuff to scare them first, Like we beat them up or kick them or hit the wife, or like a couple of guys will fondle on the wives, just to piss them off.
Listen to how he talks about murder and sexual assault. Just lying about it. This is going to be important. Put a pin in this because this is going to be important later on. He has no problem using children, women, the idea of sexual assault as a weapon and as a lie for his own purposes. Very similar to what he did earlier this week. And you got to also ask yourself, what kind of person thinks like this, where their brain is automatically lying about that kind of a topic? That's such a dark fucking topic. Who lies about shit like that?
Mom tried to get him to say something. When they didn't do it, we killed him. We'll do that to like maybe several houses, multiple houses, slaughtering, 30, 40 people a night sometimes. They're doing the houses, women and children. I didn't sign up to kill women and children, I signed up, I was trained, in all the ranger school and, 18 months of that crap,
No, you didn't. You weren't trained to do shit. You could barely do a jumping jack, and they pushed your ass out of the military. You weren't trained to do anything. You weren't trained to do anything, nigga. You have no skills. None. Zero. That's why you've been unemployable your whole life. Jesse MacBeth has tried to change his name a lot over the years to try to avoid a background check. But everybody always finds this video. They find you. They find your history. You can't outrun your history. You can't outrun these lies. And the great thing about what's about to happen next, Jesse, is I'm getting the band back together. I'm getting all those white people who used to drag your ass on YouTube and drag your ass on fucking blogs and shit. Oh, we bringing them into the chat. We're bringing them to the party. It's going to be 2007 all over again. Because one thing about Republicans, when they don't necessarily win like they want to win, they go out for blood. The Democrats, they go, oh, we lost. Let's look within and find ways to handle it, blah, 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 blah. Not Republicans. They want revenge. So we're going to use you as the revenge puppet, pretty much. We're going to remind them, remember Jesse MacBeth, the dude who used to lie about the military? Now he's resurrected himself as some pro-biracial asshole. We're going to make you real famous again. And we're going to make this story go viral again. Oh, it's about to get rough for you in 2023. It's going to get rough for you.
I didn't want to kill him. I wanted to challenge, I wanted to fight other elite soldiers, go out and be, but I had to go fight kids and women and innocent people that don't know how to fight.
Kids and women, children again, keeps doing it.
It was, I really got disappointed in my country. I got disappointed in my government. But I didn't say anything because I would have been locked up and got court-martialed if I spoke out when I was active duty. Other things they told us to do, man.
That's a fucking lie. You would have got court-martialed for killing women and children like you've described, but you wouldn't have got court-martialed for reporting some shit. That doesn't make any fucking sense. That doesn't make any sense.
Or to go into a mosque. This really hurts me a lot, man. My nightmares come from this most time. Or to go into a mosque, man. And these people, they're doing some kind of late night prayer. They say usually don't do a late night prayer. But they're doing tonight's one of their holy days or something. And we infiltrate the mosque ahead of time. Maybe we all posted up there. And we're waiting for them to come in, and it's like maybe a couple hundred people that are just praying, all ages, women and men. While they're in the prayer, we start slaughtering them, start shooting them, start to take.
This is a Muslim saying this, an alleged Muslim, talking about murdering other Muslims as they prayed in their mosque. Wow. That's some low shit. That's some low fucking shit. Nigga, you might as well eat bacon. You might as well eat a whole fucking bacon sandwich, because the shit that you just did right there is definitely going to give you a ticket straight to hell. Like, I don't understand how lying about murdering other Muslims inside of their mosque is like, how is that halal? That's some bullshit right there. Like, what are you doing? Oh yeah, that's right. You just don't give a fuck about Allah or his rules, or you definitely don't care about other Muslims. In fact, you're not a Muslim, you're a Muslim. There's a difference between people who are Muslim and Muslims. Muslims be them niggas who have a kufi on their head and be lying and be fucking stealing from people. Those Muslims, they have a bean pie and some fucking excuses for why they live the way they live, but they're not really living by the rules of Allah. He is a prime example. This nigga is a whole Muslim.
Taking them out. And then after that, I remember we did their bodies, you know, we would burn their bodies just like they did to us, and we would hang their bodies from the rafters in the mosque, and we would write stuff on the wall, you know, and tell them, you know, you're not safe, and you know you gotta, you know, leave here, you know, Allah can kiss my ass, you know.
Wow. I'm not even Muslim, but I'm low-key offended. I'm like, that's the most disrespectful shit ever. For those of you who are Christian, Catholic, or anything like that, basically, just imagine a person talking about killing a bunch of people inside of a church, a la Dylan Roof, and then scribbling a whole bunch of disrespectful shit and hanging their bodies inside of that church. That's what he's talking about. See, when we talk about mosques and we talk about people from Iraq, it's almost like Americans, especially at that time period, we otherize them. They're other people. But think about it, if it was in America, in your church. Now it doesn't feel like another person. It's not, you can't otherize it when you do that. You're supposed to be Muslim. See, this is why I tell you, it's a lot of fake Muslims out there. Muslims.
You know, and it's America and Hua on the wall, so they know. And then we'll leave some bodies in the streets of people, and it was just, after a while, it was just sickening, you know, to think that.
After a while, it should have been sickening from the first time you did it. Oh, I'm sorry, like, oh my God, like, it should have been sickening the first time you did it. Like, but of course, this isn't a real thing that happened. This is some bullshit he made up. But you want to know what isn't bullshit? Those domestic violence charges, that credit card fraud you was doing, nigga. See, all of that was real. That was real. But we'll talk more about that a little bit later. We still have a couple of things to get through. So we have another part of this documentary. Oh, bitch, we not done with you yet. I'm going to give you attention. Now, whore, don't never say I never gave you anything. I'm giving you the attention you wanted.
That I took part in that, you know. That my country turned me into this very same thing we're trying to fight against. You know, now that I look back at it, we are the terrorists. We're the ones terrorizing the country, a whole nation of people.
Yeah, America didn't do a very good job in Iraq. We can talk about all the issues that happened in Iraq. A lot of people died behind that. But in this scenario, when you say America are the terrorists, then what are you? If America are the terrorists, aren't you increasing terrorism by making up lies like this? Aren't you making the whole environment a little bit more dangerous with this fucking lie? Who benefits from this lie? Jesse, you was worried about, you worried about the beeping in the background. Let's talk about the lies you were talking about, bitch. Let's talk about these lies.
People that did nothing wrong to us. And it wouldn't. Iraq had nothing to do with the 9/11 attacks, you know. And I didn't know that then, you know. But I know it now. And
you didn't know it then? Wait a minute. I was barely in high school when the time we got to Iraq, when the Iraq war started. I want to say it was like 2003. Everyone knew that Iraq had nothing to do with 9/11. Everybody. You were grown as fuck and you didn't realize that? Did you not read books? You didn't watch the news? Come on now.
It just, I feel, you know, the death of my battle buddies, my suffering, death of all the soldiers over there, it was for crap. It was for lies. It's hard for me to live with, you know. It's hard for me. That's why I talk out. because I feel, if I feel that if I speak.
No, sir. You're talking because you're an attention whore. You like the attention you're getting. I mean, the reality is you're a mediocre ass nigga who couldn't even handle basic training, and your whole family don't fuck with you. That's pretty mediocre. So now you've resurrected yourself as some type of army soldier who did a whole bunch of atrocities, but now, he feels so guilty and he's trying to fix all those problems. You're speaking out because you like attention. You're attention whore. It's really not that hard to understand.
Yeah, that I'm doing something to justify, justify, their death, Yeah. But
Mhm.
but a lot of Iraqis didn't want us there. We shot at protesters, because we were told that they had weapons. Women never did. They said protesters had weapons in there. We had to go to take them out. So we took them out, and we found the weapons afterwards. We found none, no weapons afterwards. There would be kids they threw rocks at us before, and our command officer told them to take them out. That's on this violence. We got to take them out.
He even kind of chuckled at the end of that. It just shows you how fucked up in the head this nigga is. So you're probably asking, who would come up with this bullshit? Where did he come up with these ideas? Have you guys heard of the My Lai massacre? The My Lai massacre. Let me actually put this in the chat. I want you guys to look this up. The My Lai massacre actually happened during the Vietnam War. Probably one of the most disgusting acts done by the U.S. military. The My Lai massacre happened in 1968. And about 347 U.S. Army members showed up, engaged in not only rapes, but also killing of 22 people. There are photographs of the My Lai massacre. The My Lai massacre is probably, like I said, one of the worst things America has ever done. And it was during the Vietnam era. Now, we can have a long conversation about the Vietnam War, the mental status of a lot of those soldiers. I'm not about to sit here and, play cover for the U.S. military and how they handled Vietnam. But this is what he was trying to invoke, the imagery of the My Lai massacre. And that massacre, once it got to the media, that was one of the things that really made people say, okay, well, you got to get the fuck out of Vietnam. Because these people are literally, our soldiers are literally raping and murdering people and taking pictures of it. I'm not going to put any of the pictures of what happened in the My Lai massacre up because they're very upsetting. But I did put the link of the Wikipedia page of the My Lai massacre, and I encourage everybody to look it up. I feel like there are parts of our American history that we must know, and the Vietnam War is one of them. Because one of the things about the Vietnam War, you've been paying attention to what your kids have been reading, like their textbook, they don't call it the Vietnam War. They call it the Vietnam conflict. They diminish the importance of that war and what happened in America because of it. So what he's trying to do is get people to think about that war, think about the atrocities of the Vietnam War, and compare it to what's going on in Iraq, and to get people all pissed off. Not just Americans, but definitely the Iraqi insurgents. That was the whole goal. The question is he doing this because he just hates the military and he wants to do some fucked up shit to the military? Is he doing it because he's paid to do this? Or is it a little bit of both? I'm thinking it's a little bit of both.
So you're shooting at kids throwing rocks?
Kids throwing rocks, protesters holding up signs, people burning flags. Our job was just kill. They were saying what makes the green grass grow? Blood, red sticky blood. Well, that was pretty much what they had us do, to try to go grow some grass in the desert, And it was, I'm so disappointed in my country, man. I'm ashamed to actually have served.
Nigga, you should be disappointed in your fucking self. You made up all this shit. The audacity.
In Iraq. The reason why I wear this hat and I go to these meetings and stuff, so I can speak out and tell the truth, so people know I was there, and I'm ashamed of being there. I'm ashamed of having to hurt innocent people. I'm ashamed in to taking part in one of the hugest, most scandalous things our government has done. So Iraq is horrible. A lot of people are dying and a lot of stuff happening, and I lost a lot of buddies myself, and
Name one person you lost. You didn't know anybody. You got kicked out of the military during basic training. Nobody knows you. Well, they know you, like through your infamy, but didn't nobody bond with you, nigga? You don't have no fucking band of brothers in the military. Fuck out of here. It's one nigga who's a part of the military who fucks with you, another pretend biracial. But we're going to talk more about that on December 10th.
and a lot of people are coming home, messing in head, not be able to deal with stuff they have to do over there, and our government doesn't care. And most of the people don't care. There's a lot of people that do care, but the majority of America doesn't care, because there's homeless Iraq veterans out there, there's homeless Vietnam veterans out there, homeless Desert Storm veterans out there. If people really care as much as they think they did, they say they did, they will get on the ball, and make a difference. They will stop the killing, because everybody, that's for the war, they're supporting all the dying over there, all the loss of life, the death toll of Iraqis. It's not what they say in the news.
Now this nigga is talking this "we are the world, make it a better place for you and for me" type shit. Nigga, you was just lying about killing children. Fuck you talking about?
It's like hundreds of thousands of people. I didn't know that many people could die, and could be hidden from the world, until I was in Iraq. I've seen big old.
You were never in fucking Iraq, okay? And as far as people hiding, well, not people, the government hiding death tolls, hiding how much damage has occurred, all you have to look at Pearl Harbor, Pearl Harbor. They minimized the death toll and they minimized the destruction that happened for a variety of reasons. They didn't want Japan to know how much they fucked shit up. And on top of that, they didn't want the American, public to realize how vulnerable they were and how much they didn't have the tools necessary to fight Japan in that moment. So if you just have a basic understanding of American history, it shouldn't surprise you that much. But Jesse MacBeth isn't that smart. Well, obviously, he thought this dumbass lie was going to work.
Huge ground pits filled with bodies that are being burned or buried or covered up.
There's mass graves. There's a mass grave in Iraq. So tell me this, why hasn't that leaked on the internet yet? I mean, Iraqis have cell phones and shit. I mean, they could take pictures of this mass grave. Where is this mass grave? You notice he never tells you where these places are. He said, oh, I went to a mosque. Where was the mosque? Was it in Tikrit? Was it in Baghdad? Where the fuck was it? He doesn't tell us. He doesn't tell you where any of these places are.
And how can they hide that from the rest of the world? How can they hide all them deaths, all them innocent people? It's like mass genocide on us. Our country has become terrorist. That's why people hate us, man. And I love my country, man. I would die for my country any day.
No, you wouldn't. You don't love your country, and you wouldn't die for your country. Honestly, a lot of the Republican TV pundits said that you should have been executed for treason. I'm not saying they're right. Also not saying they're wrong.
but I won't die for president. For our president, I won't die for our government. If I have to fight again, man, it'd be to take that asshole out of office. I'm just tired. I'm tired of Iraq. I'm tired of turning on the news and seeing, all these deaths, seeing all these people and feeling bad.
I just thought about something. Why do you have on this fake uniform? Because this is a fake uniform you're wearing. Are you really just trying to push it that, yes, I'm a soldier, even though you weren't? Because you do realize when soldiers are at home, they're not just walking around with their fucking uniform on. Did you know that? Did you know that they wear regular clothes, especially if they're doing an interview?
Because I took part in that. I remember this one time over there, man. There was this family. It's after we raided the house, and we didn't see them at first. And this lady, she was holding her kids. The 3 kids, you hold them. They're young, like. Well, one was like, I think about a year old, a little bit older than my own son, and a couple were like maybe 5 or maybe 7, I don't know, but they weren't that old at all. And she was holding them, and she had blood on her hands because one of her children were hurt, and she was sitting there, and I saw her first, and she was begging me, begging me to save her, to save her and to save the kids, but I didn't, I wanted to be. I killed him, because that's what I had to do, and
in this sick ass fantasy, he talks about murdering a woman, her children, one as young as 1 year old. Who the fuck would even cook up such a thought? Well, a person who has no empathy for women or children. People who murder and rape people, they usually have this lack of empathy for people. That's why they can do this shit. So when people are saying, oh, Jesse MacBeth, he's dangerous, he may come after you, I wish that nigga would. It'd be the last thing you do. Trust me. You'll get Chris Wallace if you come out here starting some shit. And that's on period. But I'm more concerned that you would actually hurt your own family. Because people like you with the fucked up mental status like you will go after your family before you get to anyone else. And you've already proven that you don't have any type of empathy for children or women. You don't give a fuck. Even in your fantasy, you talk about murdering them. See, people need to watch out for people like you. We may need to get you up off the streets because God knows what you could possibly do to Grimace and those other children. So I think the real threat is you, nigga.
Not a day goes by, I don't regret that. I think about my own son a lot, what if that was my son that someone came in and killed, my family, and Iraq is.
You don't care about your family. Remember, you was beating the shit out of this wife. Since you can't fight niggas, you can't fight men, you was beating that bitch like a nigga on the street. Like, wasn't that what you were doing? So you don't give a fuck about your family, quote unquote.
It's horrible, man. What we're doing over there is wrong, and I can't say it enough.
Mm-hmm.
Say it enough. Don't do it. If you have dreams of serving your country, then you can do it in other ways. You can do it by stopping the war. I had the same grandiose ideas of being a glorious war hero.
Grandiose. That's a very good word to use right here. This is definitely delusions of grandeur, because you definitely didn't make it through the military. You definitely weren't an Army Ranger. You went to the military because you didn't have any other options. Your mother wasn't interested in taking care of you. Your father wasn't interested in knowing you. Cousins, nobody fucked with you. Apparently, you used to steal from family members on your black side, so they didn't fuck with you. You had to move into sex work in your late teens and 20s. And then you said, fuck it, let me just try to get in the military. And you couldn't even do that. Then you moved in with some old ass bitch with kids as old as you, which, to be very frank with you, if an old bitch is fucking somebody as old as her kids, something's wrong with this broad. Like, and her sons are living there. It's an awkward situation. But hey, hoes got to eat, and you had to eat. You see what I'm saying? So the delusions of grandeur are just outrageous.
You know, and like I modeled myself a lot after the Vietnam guys, man, because I was like, man, they were like hardcore out there. Then when I asked,
boom, Vietnam. That's where he got his whole story from, the My Lai massacre. It literally, everything that he's describing is pretty much the My Lai massacre, but done in Iraq. That's where his whole story came from.
actually, a lot of Vietnam people would tell me, the war is not what you think it is. Go out, but I didn't listen. Like, once you go out there and experience it for yourself, you realize, the people were right. It is horrible.
Wait a minute. You asked Vietnam veterans about the war in Vietnam. Do you know that real veterans don't like to talk about war? Especially those who went to Vietnam. They don't even want to. It was one of the worst things they've ever experienced. Why would they sit around and talk to a fake soldier about their time in Vietnam? Nobody talked to you. Nobody gave you advice because you don't listen to anyone. Your narcissism won't allow you to listen to anyone. Your narcissism gets you into so much shit because you really think that you're like some type of special individual. But you special ed, but you're definitely not a special individual. There's nothing remarkable about you. You're kind of below average at best.
Nobody needs to be subjected to that. The military, they lie to you, they manipulate you, and basically, they can do whatever they want to you and get away with it. The government, they have complete power.
I thought the issue wasn't the whole military. It was specifically your platoon. Now it's the whole military. Sounds like some propaganda shit to me.
Like that. And a lot of people think, it's not true. Well, then look at Iraq. We're terrorizing that nation, and we're getting away with it. But if you guys want to go in the military, don't. You can make your own revolutionary military here at home. You do that. You want to fight for a cause, fight for a good cause. Don't fight for a war over money and oil and a war over. It's a war over to take over the whole Middle East, pretty much. Pretty much over money, man. And the military is not what it used to be. I'm disappointed in my military. Disappointed in my whole country. So don't join. Find out everything, all the lies and stuff, and they don't want to build it. And now that they're doing a recon in Iran, they don't want another war, because the next thing they're gonna be Iran veterans against the war, and that there might be Syria veterans against the war, Saudi veterans against the war, or China veterans against the war. Who knows how far this asshole gonna go? And they don't want that.
Pause. So this whole documentary thing, in the backdrop was the 2008 elections that were about to pop up. We knew that George Bush had already won. He already defeated John Kerry. He got a second term. It is what it is. What they did not want to happen was there to be another Republican president. So they started creating this propaganda against George Bush. Now, George Bush is a lot of things. He's nowhere near as evil as people like to pretend he is. George Bush is actually kind of a nice guy, a bit of a pushover, honestly, and he had really shit advisors. Okay, so when we look back at his presidency, there's a lot of things he did wrong. There's a lot of things he did right. George W. Bush was not the worst president in like the last 50 years. He had a lot of mistakes, sure, But this whole thing, this little documentary, this was propaganda for the Democratic Party. And their goal was to ensure that there was a Democratic president. And, you know, this little fake documentary definitely helped undermine the military for a second. But then people like Glenn Beck and Rush Limbaugh, they started doing a little research. And you know what they found out? This nigga was lying. That's what they found out, right? They found out that he was lying and he wasn't the only one. And this little group, Iraq Veterans Against the War, they were a part of that propaganda group. Where's all this money coming from, though? These groups need funding. So who do you think was funding these groups? Democratic Party. Now, I'm not really on Democrat or Republican side. I come from a family who are registered Republicans. I was a registered Republican, but I also know both of them are looking out for themselves. But I always get suspicious of anybody that's a part of a group that's completely supported by one party. Something to think about.
A lot of people in the military, they're over there fighting. They don't want no more war. And all it takes is a few good men to hold the rallying flag for them to rally behind, and we'll stop this shit. The thing is, the government is doing so much to not let us be heard. You know, the mainstream media, they won't play a lot of stuff. I talk a lot. They don't play a lot of stuff that we talk about. They cut it out.
We know you talk
and only play what they think the people, you know, what they want people to hear. There's so much to hush us up. But we gotta do stuff. We gotta find people that will listen, that put stuff, real stuff out. You know, like you guys in the indie media. You know, because you guys put out the truth, man, and then people rally behind that. And I'm so dedicated to this and to my country. If it takes me holding up a flag and getting killed, you know, for this shit to stop, I would do it, man, because it needs to stop for my family's sake and for the rest of the world's sake. You know, we need to be over there. No one wants to go. Man. Oh.
So that is the documentary from Pepper Spray Productions. Now, let me show you guys. Let me close this. We don't need that anymore. So, as you can see, this nigga has no problem lying about some of the most heinous shit you would ever hear. And honestly, who would lie about something like that? Unless, number one, even if you're getting paid to, like, think about the kind of person they would need to find to lie about something like this. You would have to be a person with no type of moral compass. You got to be totally cool with lying about the most heinous shit ever. Not only are you cool with lying about it, you're cool with going on camera and lying about it. You got to also not give a shit of what could possibly happen to people after this lie. So let's get into this little group. It's called, what is it? Pepper Spray Productions. Because I really feel as though we need to know where the money is coming from. We need to know who these organizations are that are supporting this dude, because this is the problem. They exist. They're in the shadows. They're supporting people like Jesse MacBeth, and we need to know who they are, right? So hold on one second. I'm going to share the screen again. Close this. And then, of course, we're going to get into the lies that he said recently, because now he's going to the courts and he's just making up shit as if, unlike you, Jesse, I actually have a lawyer. And the consequences for your actions, they're not good. They're not good, sis. All right, so this is Pepper Spray Productions public group, right? This is not something I created, because people like to lie and say I made this. As you can see, this goes back to 2011, right? Most of these videos they put, they're anti-war, anti-Republican, very liberal supporting videos. Now, they removed that video of Jesse MacBeth because, you know, everything got out. They learned that everything was a lie that he was saying. But let's actually go to the future. Not the future, but let's look at the people in this group. So, no surprise there. Lambert Roquefort, Seattle, Washington, man of no color. Tremel Labie, Seattle, Washington, black person. Crash Clementine. Oh no, Crash Clementi, excuse me. Looks like a person of no color, not going to his profile. Another person of no color. Another person of no color. The reason why I'm pointing this out is this is not a black group. This is not a group that is, a bunch of black activists getting together to basically, call out the government or, hold the government accountable. That's not what this is. There's a reason why I'm pointing that out. Let's do a little bit more research on this little group. So this is their page, Pepper Spray Media. Okay? Pepper Spray Production was an independent activist collective in Seattle, born out of the WTO battle in Seattle in 1999. It is focused on bringing independent videos from the front lines of the global battle against the corporate state. Their work has served as a foundation of Pepper Spray Media and will continue to influence the content. So the original people who were behind this organization, they're no longer involved in it, right? And this new group took over. And what are they working on right now? Well, this is mad old. They haven't updated this shit in the longest. Seattle Black Panthers documentary. I wonder, isn't it interesting that a group that is basically ran by white people are working on documentaries about the Black Panthers? One would imagine that their documentary is probably going to be slanted towards, liberal ideas. Now, I'm not against liberals or anything like that, but I do find it interesting that the Black Panthers is an extremely black organization. You would think there would be a black person spearheading this whole project. Nah, why have a black person do it when you can just have some liberals from Seattle do it, right? This leads us to their YouTube channel, right? Let me see. Can you guys see this? No, I wasn't sharing the screen. Hold on one second. What's this? Hold on. I want to share the YouTube channel. Mind you, this is supposed to be a production company, right? And these are the only videos that they have. And as you can see, ain't nobody checking for these motherfucking videos. 2 years, 15 views. Ain't nobody checking for this bullshit. No one cares about their content. And I think it's because they know that they're disqualified. That whole relationship with Jesse MacBeth makes them completely unqualified to really speak on anything related to politics or the military. I find it interesting. They got a lot of black shit on here. And it's not ran by black. This isn't ran by black people. I'm very suspicious of any black-oriented content on a channel run primarily by white people. It's kind of like how I feel about BET. Like, we all know BET is ran by strictly white people. So when you see embarrassing content, well, you know why. We're not done yet. There's more that we need to talk about. Hold on one second. So Pepper Spray Media is a liberal think tank, pretty much. Not even a think tank, a former liberal production company in Seattle, run strictly by white people, designed to pretty much undermine the Republican Party. But they will use a black face as pretty much their puppet, so to speak. Because what happens is, if you use a black person, then any criticism coming from the Republicans looks racist. That's what people had to dance around addressing Jesse MacBeth in the beginning. Rush Limbaugh didn't give a fuck about coming off racist, because I think he kind of was. So he didn't give a shit about coming off racist or coming off rude when attacking Jesse MacBeth. And honestly, he was right for doing that. At the end of the day, Jesse MacBeth did lie. He made up this entire thing. So this production company used blackness to protect themselves from accountability. But soon as it was time to really just put his ass out to pasture, they had no problem doing so. Let me pull up this article, because they got rid of his ass when it was time to get rid of his ass. Is this it? Here it is. Okay. After a while, the protagonist of the interview, Jesse MacBeth, came under intense scrutiny and was denounced as a fake. Descendant Voices rightfully pull the article, and Peace Films followed up by pulling the video. So basically, they claim that as soon as they found out about what was going on, I'm going to put this article in the chat. They immediately, retracted the video. They immediately, got rid of everything. But the truth is, they were trying to hide things. They were trying to cover their ass. People had found out about him. They had found out about their little group. So they were like, oh, shit, we have to get rid of this guy. We don't want to be held responsible for his bullshit. And like every other tool of white supremacy, once they're done with you, they're done with you. They got rid of your ass. And rightfully so. Rightfully so, Jesse. So now we talked about where he's from, who he is at his core. Let's talk about what's going on now. So Jesse MacBeth got real upset because I pointed out that he is not biracial in the sense where, there's one monoracial parent and another monoracial parent. According to Jesse MacBeth, his mother is like 15 to 20% African. That bitch damn near quadroon. So she's not a white woman. She's a mixed race woman who looks white passing. That ain't the same as being a white person. And in fact, you have no idea what this bitch is, to be quite honest with you. Like you go from, oh, she's Egyptian, she's Arabic. Oh, it's all the same thing. It's not all the same thing. So we're going to watch this very brief video, and hopefully, Jesse, because I know you're watching, because your narcissism won't allow you to step away. Hopefully, you'll actually learn something. Hopefully. Probably not, but let's see what happens. Notice none of these Egyptians look anything like your mother. None of them. And notice that Jesse MacBeth, when he posts his ancestry DNA test, he always posts just the sub-Saharan African part. Never the rest of it. There's a reason because of that. For those of you who have Ancestry.com, you know that the sub-Saharan African and like the North African are kind of separated. They're not in the same category. Ancestry purposely separates them. So if you're Moroccan, from Eritrea, Egyptian, any of that stuff, that's going to be separated from sub-Saharan African. So he's not going to post all his DNA results because it's going to show, if we're talking just African ancestry, well over 50%. And that's an issue for these spaces because in the space that he was in, the Golden Sphere, they're very focused on non-Black DNA. They're very weird like that. So he knew that for me to say that I'm biracial, I need to show that I'm, under 45% sub-Saharan African. Nigga, you could be totally white, to be quite honest with you. You'd still be a lying traitor ass nigga, so who gives a fuck at the end of the day? But you got really upset because I pointed out the fact that your mother was a mixed race woman and your father was Black, so you're not really biracial. Oh, he got triggered. He started posting a whole bunch of shit, making a whole bunch of subliminal attacks. Nigga, I don't do the subliminal shit. I'm grown. Okay, sir, we're not going to do the subliminal shit. I'm going to put your name on it. And late last week, it was on Saturday night, he started posting some real dumb shit. And I was annoyed, so I decided to tell him to shut the fuck up. So hold on, let me share the screen. Now, mind you, wasn't saying shit to this nigga, minding my own business. He posted this shit. What was this? Now, all I saw that my name was tagged in it, and that was enough for me to cuss his ass out, personally. Personally, I feel like that's more than enough reason to cuss somebody out. Saying, oh, I don't do the YouTube beef. You do the YouTube beef, sir. You just like beefing with females. You like beefing with, Golden Goddess and Multi-Moose Movement. Like women. You enjoy fighting women like when you were beating up your wife. You get into that. You enjoy that. But when motherfucking men come at you, oh, you're scared all of a sudden. Now you're terrified. Now you're being stalked. Bitch, nobody was stalking you. I was cussing you out, but I wasn't stalking you. So then what did he do? He's posted, let me scroll down, hold on one second. Then I just started releasing receipts on his ass. Like, for example, he likes to talk about how wealthy he is. Sir, not with that popcorn, not with the popcorn ceiling and those very, very low walls. But you like to show off shit like televisions and things like that. You like to show off like you're a big shot. We all know your wife Grimace is the one that's paying for everything. We know she's the only moneymaker in the entire family. She works like a slave as a nurse all day long for you to sit home on the internet and argue with women all day. I just don't get it. I don't get how you have all this arrogance when you bring nothing to society. You bring literally nothing. You're detracting from fucking society. So he didn't like that I pointed out the fact that he was nowhere near as wealthy as he likes to describe himself. And this is his MO. As soon as you start putting some heat on his ass, what does he do? Legal threat. If you continue to stalk me and harass me, I'll file charges and sue. Just a fair warning. As soon as you say something critical, I'm gonna get a lawsuit. I'm gonna get you, nigga. This is America. We can say whatever the fuck we want to say about you, and you're a public figure. So get over it. So I was like, all right, let me put some more heat on this bitch ass. So I looked his ass up and I looked him up more, and I noticed that all of this music, this biracial music that he's creating, it don't sound like him. None of the rapping, in fact, one of the rapping was clearly done by somebody who was British. Like he had like a British kind of accent. And notice none of these niggas are stuttering or sound anything like you. So I'm like, oh, this nigga is going on Fiverr and having people pretty much perform his songs for him. And just like motherfucking Milli Vanilli, his ass is slapping his name on it. Oh, it's my song. I created it. No, you didn't. You hired someone to perform it for you. You don't have the talent. You don't have the vocals. And we heard him sing. I'm not gonna play the vocals, but it was a fucking disaster. Like, go on my community tab, check out this one because he likes to copyright strike. And I get it. You don't want people to use your content, but I probably wouldn't have put this video up. This right here, I wouldn't have put that up. It was very much giving Aaron Carter postmortem. It wasn't very soulful. It was very flat. It was not a good, wasn't a good vocal. Let's just put it like that. And then he was complaining about people after him. Nigga. I posted the receipts about how you used to beat your ex-wife. You're not a victim. You a bitch. You're a bitch who don't like when people talk about you. You like to talk about everybody else, but nobody can give a rebuttal. They can't talk about you. Nah, I'm gonna talk about you. I'm gonna talk about you and that trash pussy of yours. I'm gonna talk about Grimace. I'm gonna talk about whatever the fuck I want to talk about because I can. So then he says, "Oh, I'm gonna file some type of complaint. I'm filing a protection order." All right. Notice he took all of his legal documents down because we pretty much put a harpoon in his legal documents because what happened was, well, let's just get into it. Hold on. Let me show you something. Oh, let me find out you guys can't see what's going on. See, I'm ranting and raving and shit. Let me find out. Can y'all see what's going on? Hell no. Y'all can see? Let me put a link to my community tab. Just in case, because it's still on my community tab. I ain't taking shit down. Community tab, you can literally go through everything and kind of see things in order because I made screenshots. So Monday, was it Monday? I think it was Monday. He wakes up pissed the fuck off. He was mad as hell. He was going to teach me a lesson. He was like, I'm going to show that Atlantic Creole that he can't talk about my pussy and get away with it. So he does this. Show y'all what he posted. Lawsuit set. I'll file this tomorrow morning. I sent it to YouTube already. See you in court. Ooh, I'm so fucking scared. Ooh, he's going to see me in court. I will also be filing a civil protection order this morning as well. In Ohio, it's illegal to stalk, harass, cyberbully, and make unwanted sexual advances online or otherwise. It will be filed here and with the sheriff's department in his state, which is California, and county. Every time he stalks me online or even mentioned me, he will in violation of the CPO and thus arrested. I don't play these games. Yes, you do. I'm including a sexual harassment clause in the CPO as well, talking about people be raped and many of other things he said qualifies for it. No, sir. Talking about how you used to let niggas slam you out is not really considered sexual harassment. You the one that told everybody you was getting banged out by niggas. I didn't tell you to do that. You shared that story with everybody else. And what we learned, or what I learned, is that didn't happen in your childhood. You did that in your teens, in your early adulthood. You was a grown-ass man letting these niggas slam you out. So you're blaming your dead mother because she can't defend herself. She's long dead, so she can't defend herself at all. And you're blaming her for some shit that she didn't even do. You was a grown-ass man doing this shit, and you kept doing it. You went into sex work, and you wrote a book about it, and you were trying to make it seem like you were doing something special because you was now fucking some old-ass broad. You would, of course, have to fuck some old-ass broad. Ain't nobody gonna pay to fuck you, nigga. Have you seen yourself? Get the fuck out of here. So he does go on, and he did file his little complaint. And needless to say, I was so concerned about what he was going to do. Now, he said he spoke to his lawyer, and his lawyer helped him get through all of this paperwork. My question is this: who's your lawyer? Because that nigga is about to get disbarred. Because if your lawyer told you that because somebody was talking about how lame your pussy is and the fact that you lie and was uploading videos of you lying is somehow cyber stalking, if he told you that, please let me know who that lawyer is. Because not only am I going to put in an ethics complaint against that lawyer, I'm also probably going to file a civil complaint against him because any lawyer worth their salt would never tell anyone to file a complaint regarding that. But remember, you consulted with a lawyer. So let me show you all this other interesting document because this one sums it all up. So anytime you file any type of order of protection, you got to go downtown, do the whole thing. And here is the court website. Pretty much it lets you know if anything has been filed. It gives you the dates of when you have to respond, all that fun shit, right? So he said he went online. You guys remember you were following him. For those of you who follow him, he said he spoke to a lawyer. He said that he filed a complaint and there was an order, a protection order, right? No, bitch. For there to be a protection order, there needs to be a judge that stamps saying, I approve. This order has been granted. Also, notice, y'all know my name already, it doesn't matter. There's no attorney on record for Jesse. It makes sense for there to be no attorney for me because I don't live in Ohio and you don't have my contact information like that. He did get my cell phone number and started texting me like a weirdo, like a weird bitch ass nigga. But you don't have like my address and all that other stuff. So it makes sense for you not to know who my attorney is. You're going to learn real soon though. But where's your attorney? Where's your attorney, Jesse? You said you had one and you consulted with that attorney. Where the fuck are they? Where's their name? Jesse, where is the attorney's name? Help us out. Put it in the chat. Put it on your community tab who your attorney was. Bitch, you ain't had no fucking attorney. You can't afford an attorney. So the case was filed on 11/21/2022. That's when it was filed. Which if that was Monday, right? Yeah, that was Monday. So he filed it on Monday. If there was any type of emergent danger or some type of concern, you know what else they would have told you? They would have told you to file a police report. Why didn't you file a police report? See, this nigga was talking about that I was trying to grape his children and grape his fucking wife and all this crazy shit. He put that in on video, and I still have that video, by the way. And doesn't that remind you of what he said earlier in that little interview, talking about people raping children and killing people and all that weird shit? These are the thoughts that goes in his little retarded ass, receded hairline ass mind. Those are the thoughts that he thinks about. He thinks about shit like that. That's why he keeps bringing it up. Sick ass motherfucker. So when you filed it on 11/21, they gave a temporary hearing date. The temporary hearing date was in December. Right? So what do? As soon as I found out about this bullshit. And mind you, this little schedule, this is just a pending schedule. They put this information for victims to understand what a timeline could look like. If this was a real case and this was a real situation, it helps victims know that, okay, there's a process. In this timeline, you'll get more answers. It makes them feel a little bit better to know that things are going along. So, of course, I called. You know I called. And I spoke to two people. I spoke to a person of no color and a person of color. I'm bringing this up to make a point. You got to know how to code switch if you really want to get information. Because how you get information from white people and how you get information from black people, it's not the same. See, when I talk to white people, specifically about your situation, Jesse MacBeth, I always point out the fact that you are a traitor to America and that you have stolen from the VA. See, white people don't play about their tax dollars and they definitely don't play about their military. So when they hear shit like that, they go, what? They immediately get curious or offended or pissed off. It's an emotional response. Because most white people are pretty loyal to their country in America. It's kind of how it is. So when I spoke to that person of no color, I made sure I pointed out your history of lying about being in the military, the fact that they could Google you and find out more information, how Rush Limbaugh actually exposed you. And of course, white people immediately go, even if they're not a Rush Limbaugh fan, they already know that this is a serious situation. Let me go research. So the person of no color that I spoke to, she was like, look, this all sounds like a bunch of crap. If you want to avoid this, all you have to do is not accept any certified mail. And we will continue to do what we need to do. Or you can show up to the hearing, but I wouldn't encourage it. I said, of course I'm not showing up to no fucking hearing. Ain't no way. I didn't say it like that. But basically, I expressed that there's no way that I would honor this asshole by showing up at some type of hearing. He clearly wants my attention. He can go to hell. So like she's like, yeah, don't even pay attention to this. If you get something in the mail, ignore it. But as soon as you contact the courts specifically, you put yourself in a weird position because it's almost like saying you were served, but you weren't really served. So I was like, okay, interesting. Then I speak to a gentleman of color. And the good thing about black people, if you want to know some information, they'll tell you without telling you. He even said, if you read through the lines, you'll get what I'm saying. So basically, he said, yeah, I met with that gentleman. I saw him. And let's just say we know a lot about him already. Meaning you've done this before. You've tried this before. And he said, you probably don't have anything to worry about, but I can't tell you that. But just know you don't have anything to worry about if you can read between the lines. And I definitely could read between the lines. Sir, thank you very much. You told me everything I needed to know. That your application was going to get thrown in the fucking trash because don't nobody care. Don't nobody care. So Miss Elite, I know you're listening. The reason why I didn't break my neck trying to respond to this nigga because there was nothing to respond to. If you look up this case number or if you call Franklin County Courts about this case number, what you're going to learn is this shit has been dropped. It's over. It's a non-starter. Let me put the link in the chat. I want you guys to be able to do your own research. Do your own research. You got to be able to look this shit up on your own and verify what I'm saying. So I'm not the only one just saying shit. Trust but verify. Trust but verify. Okay? So as you can see, no lawyer, so nobody I can really respond to. No judge. They haven't even assigned it to a courthouse. And Jesse, you didn't file a police report. This was all a performance. It was a shitty performance, but it was a performance. You want to see how I perform? Let me show you something. Because we're still not done with you. You're not done. There's more to talk about. Let's get into this money. Because I feel as though you've been playing in too many people's faces when it comes down to this money situation. Like you keep talking about how much money you got, what your finances, how everybody's jealous of you. Nigga, jealous of what? A broke nigga? Get the fuck out of here. So hold on one second. We're gonna actually share the screen. And we're gonna go to Amazon because this gentleman claims that he is an author of some sort. He's an author. Okay. So this is Amazon. Now I dare you do a copyright claim because this is the Amazon website. I'm not using any of your content. This is literally on the Amazon website. So you can try to file another one of those false copyright claims. You're probably going to lose your channel because you tried the last one and it doesn't look like it's going to stick. But as you can see on this little, on his Amazon profile, this is information about the book. Notice you don't see any publisher information. We do know that you're ranked at the almost like 1.8 millionth. So clearly the book ain't nobody's buying this bullshit. So that's obvious. But that's not the interesting point because Jesse MacBeth says, oh, I got all this money. My publisher, they gave me an advance. Oh, they gave you an advance? Now this isn't uncommon. Even small publishers can provide advances to their authors because when you're an author, sometimes it takes a while to get a whole project out. And who's to say that there isn't a small publisher willing to publish Jesse MacBeth's work? And may give him a couple of dollars, because he's a broke ass nigga and he needs something so he can write these books, right? Now, remember, he said he got an advance. He got an advance, remember? Okay, you got an advance. Let's share this tab. Same motherfucking book, right? Same motherfucking book. Create Space, independent publishing platform. So you got an advance from Create Space, an independent publisher. It's a free publisher. Anybody can go on Create Space and sell a fucking book. Really? They gave you an advance. They gave you the advance. Create Space. Oh, let me guess. You lied again. More lies from Jesse MacBeth. This is a trash book that no one's buying, by the way. Like, look at the ranking. Okay, no one wants it. No one gives a fuck. Okay, so it's ranking in the fucking toilet. So why would you get advanced in the first place? Another made-up tale. You're not making any money from these books. No one wants to buy them. No one wants to read them. It was a couple of foolish people in the Golden Sphere who purchased some of your books because they're stupid. No offense, but if you bought his book, you're kind of slow. This is a person who's known for lying. Why would you purchase anything from a person who's a known liar? A known liar and con artist. Are you kidding me? We got more to share. Let's get into this little community that he created, right? Because he talks about this little struggle community that he has. It's the Alkebulan Bulan or something. I think it's like the ancestral name for Africa. Mind you, has nothing to do with being biracial. But again, this is on Facebook.
Alhamdulillah. Allahu Akbar.
Get up out of here with all that. So this is the Facebook account where you can see this is not a fucking farm. This is on Facebook. You don't own the rights to Facebook, nigga. You definitely don't own the rights to TikTok. I want you to say, oh, he stole it. No, this come from TikTok, nigga. And notice only 6 people liked it, so almost nobody gives a fuck. This is not a farm. This ain't a farm. This is a piece of dirt, actually. This is not a farm. And not only is this not a farm, this is not a farm. Let's get into specifically what it is. So this is the Foundation for International Communities. To put things in perspective, this group is pretty much Google for cults. If you're looking for some weird ass community to live in, come here. You can find specifically where to go. If you want to be a part of some weird community, you can find it on this website. So this is his little weird community inside of Georgia. It was started in 2013, started moving people in 2015. And it's just somewhere in the middle of nowhere in Georgia. Let's get a closer idea of where it is. Right around this area, somewhere near here. So you're in the middle of nowhere, somewhere in Georgia. So here's the mission statement. Separating from society and system that is oppressive and built on pitting us against each other. Nigga, that's you all day. All you do is talk shit about people and attack people. Black versus white, gay versus straight, Muslim versus Christian, etc. We are a community of coming together as humans to unite and build a better tomorrow. Yeah. Could you imagine? Let's get into African-centered families, not biracial-centered families. See, it's interesting. You're black when you want to monetize blackness, just like you're biracial when you want to monetize biracial. Let's get to the good shit, the more interesting. This is just pop propaganda. Let's get to the good part. So, this is a commune, and it's religious or spiritual in order. A transition town, it's off the grid, meaning you're basically isolated by yourself. If something was to happen, it'd be a long time before the police arrive. It's in a very rural location. So, when it comes down to the government of this community, by a community leader, i.e. a dictator, one person. Our community has a single leader, then a group of elders that help and advise the leader. The leader has the final say, but everything is discussed with the elders beforehand. If one person has absolute power, who gives a fuck what some elders, quote unquote, have to say? There ain't no fucking elders here. It's just you, Grimace, your motherfucking kids, and you walking around like a terrorist. That's it. Let's talk a little bit about what to expect when you get there. There's a garden. There are greenhouses. Did you see a greenhouse anywhere? A library? Did you see a library anywhere? It was just a fucking dirt plot. Tractor and farm equipment. I didn't see any farm equipment there. It looked like you had a bunch of slaves out there. I'm going to show you the pictures in a little bit. There's a fire pit. Waterfront access. Gym and sporting. You don't even have a gym in your own fucking house. We saw that. You got a couple of free weights in there. You don't even have that at your house. And it says you have internet. But watch this. In the same section, it says internet. No, there is no internet access at our community. So you're isolated on this weird ass community with this fucking psychopath with no internet. Cell phone service, not good for most people. So your cell phone basically doesn't work. You're stuck on this weird ass plot of dirt with this psychopath with no internet and a shitty phone connection. You get 2 to 5 meals per week. This is a concentration camp. This is a fucking concentration camp. The food is GMO free, allegedly. Kosher or halal. I don't buy that shit. I've seen this nigga eat all kinds of shit that was neither kosher nor halal. So what the fuck ever. Let's get into the contributions, what you're expected to pay. There are dues. Monthly dues are $20. You have to do what? 20 hours of weekly labor contribution. So you're expected to work like a slave, essentially. We require our members to contribute $20 a month. Living off the grid is cheap, so the community does not need much. These funds go towards community needs, i.e., buying seeds to plant solar panels, fixing the community roads, etc. Most things in the community are done by a barter system. Community members are required to work in the community at least 20 hours a week and a profession chosen for them based on the skill and needs. Okay. Let's show you what that look like. Look like a struggle plantation to me. Looks like a struggle plantation. I'm good. Ain't no fucking way. Ain't no way. Ain't no way I'm going to no damn struggle plantation. Ain't no way I was going in the first place. But definitely not going to no fucking struggle camp. Like, it's a struggle camp. Who would go there? But I have more questions. I have more questions about, okay, well, where is this place? And how was it created? Where's the funding? Well, let's talk about that. So on many occasions, Jesse MacBeth has tried to get money. Oh my God, it's a struggle. Look at this struggle shit. So he went to a lot of, crowdfunding situations. For example, he had 9 campaigns on just this one website where he only got, how much money did you get? $270. So there wasn't a lot of support. They weren't really trying to support this. Pay attention to this. This is going to be important in a little bit. And as you can see, like I said, a struggle camp. This is a plantation. Hell no. Nah, not me. Ooh, what a thriving farm. Do you know a farm has to have a cash crop? For it to be a farm, you got to produce things and sell them or something. What are you selling in this piece of shit? This dry ass earth. This looks like concrete, nigga. What an illustrious farm. So I started looking things up because he claims that this is a nonprofit organization and it's registered. But you want to know something interesting, Jesse? Want to know something real interesting? When I looked up your tax ID number, I couldn't find anything registered. Couldn't find anything registered with that tax ID number. But you know what I did find? I did find that Walmart donated some money to your ass, though. Yeah, you're one of the people they did a little donation to. There you go. They gave you $1,000 because you was begging for money, as per usual. So, Jesse, my question to you, basically learning about having a nonprofit so you can get money from corporations like Walmart, get donations, get all these donations, but in truth, not only are you not a nonprofit, but it looks like you're committing tax fraud. It looks like that's what's going on here. Wouldn't it suck if someone who don't like you decided to tip off the government and let people know that you were committing tax fraud? Wouldn't that suck? That'd probably suck real bad, wouldn't it? I'm probably going to do that. No, I'm definitely going to do that because I need to get your ass back in jail. We need to put you back behind bars. There is certain people who just can't be on the streets. Have you ever seen like a person with a T-shirt that said, "Oh, free my cousin JJ, free my cousin, Kara"? No, leave them niggas locked the fuck up. What did they do? Murder? Nah, keep them locked up. What did they do? Fraud? Nah. They stealing people's identity. Keep them locked the fuck up. Jesse, we need to keep you locked the fuck up. Between all the fraudulent activity you do, between all the lies you're doing online, between the being just a fucking awful traitor, like we don't need you on these streets. We don't need you around, to be quite honest with you. You know what you are? You are a frail narcissist. And one of the things about frail narcissists is all things that happen are happening to them because people are jealous. And the way that they react when people are jealous is that they create more drama to get more attention. Well, you got the attention you was looking for. It's interesting about Jesse MacBeth. One minute he said, oh, I'm done. I don't want to talk about the Golden Sphere anymore. I'm done. I don't like beefing. There ain't no content for you because there ain't no content for you. Okay? You don't have content. You're not smart enough to come up with content. Okay? We keep having these conversations. We keep going back and forth, and I'm tired of these conversations. I'm just going to go ahead and just put it out there. Like, this is a pointless debate. We know you're a liar. We know you're a crook. We know you have weird empathy issues when it comes to women and children. And you would literally put your wife in the middle of your YouTube beef with some nigga you never met before? You going to put Grimace out there to get cussed out? You really put Grimace on the fucking front line so you can hide behind her big ass. Like you put your own kids in some drama to say what? Just to have your complaint thrown the fuck out? You're disgusting. But you need me. Like a lot of people. You need me to breathe life into you. You need me to take care of you. Because if I don't take care of you, bitch, who's gonna take care of you? Definitely not Grimace. So I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. Because I'm tired of these conversations. I'm tired of going back and forth with you. I'm gonna say what everybody's already thinking. I own you, nigga.